What's up, Jupiter here with another Call of Duty Black Ops 7 achievement trophy guide. This one is called Dust to Dust, and to unlock this one you need to complete the main quest in Ashes of the Damned. Ashes of the Damned is the main zombies map on Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and the main quest is the Easter egg for this map. Now this guide is going to show you how to do it, and during most of the footage, boss battle aside, but we'll get to that later, I did this on solo with no gobblegums. So it is possible, but because the boss fight is very difficult, this guide is more to show you the method of doing it, but I would highly recommend playing co-op, popping gobblegums and getting to the boss fight as quickly as possible. The gobblegums I would recommend as essentials are Perkaholic and at least one person in your squad to have gift card to open up the map. Apart from that, it's personal preference with your augments, your field upgrade, etc. So let's get straight into the guide. And the first stage is map setup. So you're going to want to put the head on Old Tessie, turn the power on in Lake, Farm and Ashwood, add the Pack-a-Punch boost to Old Tessie, and drive through all of the connecting areas to fully open up the map. So first, let's go through the serum items. The first one is the Widow's Lantern, or the fungus mushroom looking thing. So if you head to Blackwater Lake, you can pick up a jar of spores, which is found in the kitchen under the sink, and then go to Vandorn Farm and place these spores in the dead horse just outside the farm entrance. These will take 3 rounds to grow, and then you will collect your Widow's Lantern. The second serum item is Ravager Eyes, and during a Ravager round you want to activate a saw trap, which can be found around the map. Let the trap kill at least one Ravager and it will drop the Ravager Eyes, which can be picked up. Try and do this on round 5 or 6, which is the first Ravager round, to make this nice and easy. The third serum item is the Horde Husk Chunks. If you go to exit 115, end the round inside the diner, and then the next round one of the enemies will spawn with the freezer key. Once you kill them inside the diner, usually they'll drop the freezer key. You can pick this up, use it to open the freezer, and pick up the Abomination Carcass. Go back to Ashwood, stick it on Old Tessie, and this will be an Abomination beam on the front of your car. You can now drive throughout the connecting areas, and there will be these small glowing purple plants on the ground. Find one, destroy it with the beam, and it will drop the Horde Husk Chunks, which you can pick up. The fourth serum item is the Human Bones, and to get these you need to throw a tomahawk at the foot of one of the hanging zombies in the barn at the farm. Now you can find a free tomahawk either in the kitchen of exit 115, or if you interact with this trophy, one will spawn outside the shed in Blackwater Lake. Once the foot is on the floor, you'll now need a Molotov, which can be found outside the garage in Ashwood, and you want to throw the Molotov at the foot to burn it, revealing the bones in a foot shape, and these are the human bones which can be picked up. Now the fifth item is the Mysterious Limb, and I would recommend not getting this one until you've seen whether you need it or not in Yuri's lab, but we'll get to that later. You can either progress to round 16 and destroy a Zerka bear with your Abomination beam on Old Tessie, and then pick up the Mysterious Limb. However, this involves getting to round 16, and ideally you want to do this much sooner. So you can go round Cosmodrome shooting these 3 skulls, and this will spawn in a Zerka bear no matter what round you're on. Once you destroy the Zerka bear with your Abomination beam, you can pick up the Mysterious Limb. Now the last serum item we're actually going to leave for now. This is the Powder of the Forgotten, and this is because we need the Necrofluid Gauntlet to be able to do this step, so we'll come back to this later. So for the Necrofluid Gauntlet, you will need to go back to spawn from round 8, go over to this truck, and Uber Klaus will spawn in when you get close. I'd recommend having a Pack-a-Punch gun for this. Wonder weapons destroy him very quickly, and once you defeat him, he will drop a stabilizer chip that you can pick up. Bring this chip back to Klaus's cage, which is up the zip wire in Ashwood, interact with the terminal, and this will wake him up. You want to throw some stun grenades at him until he has these stars around his head. This will initiate a sequence where he will fly off out of his cage. As soon as he does this, you want to head to the Zarya Cosmodrome, go downstairs and summon him to in front of this control panel. He will stomp, and this will enable you to interact with it, revealing this red beam that you need to stand in and progress just by defending yourself, and Klaus will help you. Once you've completed this, turn around and the canister will unlock. Once you pick it up, you cannot use the jump pads, and you're a little bit slower, so make sure you've got Old Tessie to hand. Drive this canister to all 3 power stations, I would recommend doing it in the order Ashwood, Blackwater Lake, and then finish in farm. There'll be a time limit when transporting it around, so make sure to keep an eye on this. When you finish your last one in farm, take the canister downstairs into the basement and place it on this cube. Then you want to head on the jump pad from farm back to Janice Towers Plaza, which is where you spawn. And on the roof of the buildings in farm, there'll be 3 symbols. You need to remember these, so either take a photo or pause your game if you're the host. Then once you've got these memorized, head down into the basement and place them onto the 3 sides of the cube. You can then head around and interact with the eye, which will reveal the Necrofluid Gauntlet and put you into a small trial where you'll need to shoot these green blobs by shooting them and then pressing reload to pull your bar back. Once you've passed this trial, you'll have access to the gauntlet, which then brings us back to our last serum part, which is the Powder of the Forgotten. Now, with your Wisp Tea perk, you will need to get your Wisp to go into this mirror upstairs in Ashwood, near where Klaus's cage is, and this will reveal a bi-pyramid in the mirror. Shoot this or melee this with your Necrofluid Gauntlet, and it will disappear, and you will also get the Powder of the Forgotten item. So pick this up. Once you've got this, head to Yuri's lab in the Cosmodrome, and you'll need to interact with the powder, which will reveal these symbols on the wall, which is Pigpen cipher, so it's fairly easy to decode by each symbol matching a letter of the alphabet. However, this quick cheat sheet will help you get through this quickly. So your word can either be fungus, limbs, oculi, conch, or talus, and these correspond to serum items that we have already picked up. So the top line will be the one you want to interact with first, the middle line you want to interact with second, and the bottom line you want to interact with third. This will enable you to add blood, and when you add blood, the ritual will begin. You'll be shut in Yuri's lab, and you want to make sure you defend the person who has the gauntlet, so I would recommend popping a toxic growth, sitting in this corner, and this shouldn't be too hard to get through. Once you've completed this trial, you'll now need to go and find 3 separate keys, and the way that you get these keys is by shooting the gauntlet at them and then holding X or reload to bring them back, and this will put them on the floor in front of you where you need to pick them up and transport them to the bi-pyramid, which is upstairs in Ashwood. Now each of these keys will have a disadvantage, so we need to bear that in mind and make sure old Tessie is on hand to transport us back to Ashwood. The first key is the Nightbird key, or the red key, which is in Order Graveyard between Ashwood and exit 115, either in the T-Rex head on the mountain, behind the tank as you're leaving exit 115 on the right hand side, or inside the T-Rex head on the floor, which is the hardest location to find, but it's in this back right location. Once you've got this key, pick it up. This key prevents health regeneration, so make sure old Tessie's on hand, go back to Ashwood and enter the key into the bi-pyramid. The second key is the Brewing key, or the yellow key, and it's going to be in the crashed rocket zone between Ashwood and Cosmodrome. The first location is on the radio tower, the second location if you hug the left hand side from Cosmodrome on top of this building, and the third location from Ashwood on the mountain on the left hand side. Picking this key up locks you to melee only, so make sure you've got old Tessie and drop this off into the bi-pyramid in Ashwood. And the third key is the Terrapin key, or the green key, and it's going to be in the grounded ship zone between Ashwood and Van Dorn Farm. The first location in the ship is on the blue shipment container, the second location is in the window on top of the ship, and the third location is under the ship by the bottom of the stairs between these barrels. So pick this key up, which will make you super slow, so make sure old Tessie's on hand, get yourself back to Ashwood and place it in the bi-pyramid. When you put this key into the bi-pyramid, you will enter into a cutscene, and then the DG2 Wanderwaff turret will spawn where the bi-pyramid was. Grab this and stick it on old Tessie, and if you haven't got it already, this will give you an achievement for fully upgrading old Tessie. So now you've got a fully upgraded old Tessie with the turret. We're going to do 4 sets of Wisp challenges, and for all of these challenges you will need to turn purple with the Necrofluid Gauntlet. So I'll explain that step first, and then I will refer to it later as just turning purple. So if you back up old Tessie to this location, you'll be able to get into the turret and look up at the purple clock and shoot it. When you shoot it, this will pause time, and if you hop out and shoot the clock face with your Necrofluid Gauntlet and then pull your barb back, you will turn purple. Now you can do this on 3 out of the 4 faces each round, so this gives you 3 chances of turning purple to get the different areas Wisps done. If the round progresses, you will need to shoot the clock again with the turret on old Tessie, so try to be efficient with this. I would recommend in your first round playing getting the Cosmodrome and the farm done, so I'll go through those 2 first. So for the Cosmodrome, you'll need to turn purple twice. So turn purple, use the jump pad to head to Cosmodrome, and you want to shoot a barb at the spinning satellite. This will cause it to slow down and you'll get a purple mist around it. Jump back to Ashwood, go purple again, jump back to Cosmodrome and shoot the other satellite with your barb. So if you go into the control room, there will be monitors, a load in a row that show flashing numbers, and then 2 over here that show symbols. Again, this is Pigpen Cipher, so look at the flashing letters first, and this will give you a word, either rocket, engine, launch, or weapon. You can use this cheat sheet again to find out which word you've got, and then each of these words will be decoded into numbers. Again, the cheat sheet is here, so this can help you get this done. And you want to enter these numbers onto the monitors by shooting the red button in the bottom right hand corner of the monitor, which will stop the monitor on that number. Just be a little bit careful with this, because if you do get it wrong, you will have to progress the round and try again. But once you've got this done correctly, you will initiate a sequence where the rocket launches, and then you know that you've got this done. Head back to Ashwood, turn purple again, and this time we're going to head to farm. And if you go inside the farmhouse and look at the clock, it will show a time, and this time will correspond to the Roman numerals around the table. So depending on what time it is, stand on the correct Roman numeral and look at the head of the table. The head of the table will then slowly turn to you. It's pretty creepy. And when he's looking directly at you and his eyes go red, shoot him with the Necrofluid Gauntlet, and this will cause his head to go purple, tilt back, and there'll be a mist around it. Once you've done this, you need to collect 4 items. The first one's upstairs, and it's called Tasty Face, and it's on the lower bunk of this bedroom bed. Then if you head into the workshop where the mystery box is, you can pick up Par's pig sticker. Then head over to the big barn, and upstairs, straight ahead of you as you go up the stairs, you can pick up Junior's Fun Face. And then if you head down into the basement towards the bathtub, there is Mars Chalice. And then once you've got all 4 of these, place them on the 4 small red circles outside, and once they're all placed, you can interact with one of them, and this will initiate the trial. What's going to happen is zombies are going to come and try and destroy the items, and you've got to prevent them from doing this. You can use this trap here. I would also recommend using the toxic growth on one of them and then just shooting the zombies so they don't destroy it. You can also use things like Casimirs and monkey bombs. These are really helpful here. If you're playing on co-op, you can take 1 each, and if you're playing with trios, duos or singles, there will be less zombies to compensate for the fact there's less of you. So it's fairly similar difficulty across all the different numbers of players. Once you've done this, you can flip the round, as you will need to go purple again for the next set of challenges. I would recommend doing Exit 115 next, as you need to do Cosmodrome, Exit 115 and Farm before you're able to do Blackwater Lake. So head back to Ashwood, go purple again, and then you're going to want to use the jump pad to go to Exit 115. So first of all, you need to check if there's lightning. If there is lightning, you can proceed. If not, you want to look at these 3 lampposts for the one that is sparking. Shoot that one first, and then a different one of those 3 lampposts will spark. Shoot that second, and then shoot the 3rd lamppost, and you will manually induce lightning, which can be done once per round. So when you shoot this clock face, there will be 3 lightning strikes, 1 purple, 1 red, and 1 orange, which will freeze on top of the 3 different roofs in Exit 115. You'll need to get 3 zombies up here to complete this challenge. So the first one is the mechanic, who is downstairs in the garage. You want to summon in Klaus, command him over to where the mechanic is sitting down by the raised car. He'll stomp, a orange glowing ball will go into the zombie, which will wake him up when you walk near, and then he'll follow you. Just take him up and place him in the lightning, and he'll freeze in the lightning. The next one we'll need old Tessie for, and this big red container here, just drive into the back of it, and it will cause the trucker, who is down to the left, to wake up when the red ball gets into him and you go near. Train him up onto the roof of the petrol station, and he will freeze in his lightning. The last one is inside the diner by the cash register, and you'll need Melee Macchiato to hit this cash register with anything other than the Necrofluid Gauntlet. This will cause a purple ball to go down into the waitress, wake her up when you're near, and you need to train her to on top of the diner where the purple lightning is. Be careful not to go for this purple lightning looking thing, because this is always here and it's not the one you need to put her in. Once you've done all 3 of those, it might take you a couple of rounds. Easier on co-op when you can take 1 each, a little bit harder on solo. But once you've done this, head back to Ashwood, turn purple again, and then head to Blackwater Lake. You'll only be able to do this one when you've completed the other 3, and if you head round to the back of the cabin, there will be this large blue spirit which you can interact with. You then want to go into the main cabin, and there's a room with a projector that you want to shoot with the Necrofluid Gauntlet. This will reveal 4 locations on the map in a very specific order. So it will be the front of the cabin, the back of the cabin, the boathouse, and the shed. Make sure you know which order you need to do them in for your specific game, as it is different in every game. So the front of the cabin, you want to head into the cabin, up the stairs, and this film reel is on top of this bench by this lamp. For the back of the cabin, you want to go round the decking to this corner where the film reel is on the floor. For the boathouse, you want to go inside the boathouse, and the film reel is on the ceiling on one of the beams. And for the shed, you want to head into the back room on the shelving unit, and the second shelf down there is a film reel. You'll want to shoot these 4 film reels in the exact order that was shown on the projector, and when you successfully shoot the right one, it will go kind of purple. If at any point you get this wrong, you will get a jump scare. But if you get this right, you can head upstairs in the cabin and interact with the large wisp which is now at the end of the bed. This will open up this box at the foot of the bed, and when this box is open, you can go and summon Klaus and command him to go to the end of the bed. This will cause him to pick something out of the box, and then he will go and stand on the decking, and he'll remain there until you interact with him. Now it's at this point before you interact with Klaus that you want to make sure you're fully upgraded. Wonder weapons, ray guns Mark II, pack-a-punches, max shields, perks, perkaholics, TED trials to get perma perks, etc. As the boss battle is fairly difficult. So once you're all set up, interact with Klaus, and then if you're playing in co-op, you will need to have the other players accept it. Hop into Old Tessie, and then you're going to want to drive in this specific order to get 12 wisps. So if you hop in Old Tessie and go from the lake back to spawn, you'll pick up 3 wisps in the monolith forest. Make sure you get 3 before you leave the area. Go through spawn and then head round towards farm, again picking up 3 wisps. Go through farm to Ashwood, picking up 3 wisps again, and then lastly head towards the lake, and this will get you your 3 wisps, so 12 total, 3 in each area on that small loop. Once you get your last wisp, it will automatically transfer you into the boss battle. Now in the boss battle, you need to have one person in the car who is focused on ramming the car with their boost into the big boss. There's a variety of ways you need to do this, just doing it regularly, or if he's spinning like a Beyblade, you'll need to pick up the purple thing and then ram into him, which will make him weak. And a couple of other things to watch out for in the car is making sure you're avoiding the red circles where the rockets are going to go, and also making sure that you're picking up as many green things as you can to keep yourself healed. If you're playing with 2 people, you need that second person in the turret who is shooting the big boss, especially when they've been weakened after he was spinning like a Beyblade. We got the purple thing in the car and rammed into him. This will make him very vulnerable from below this orange area that you can shoot with the turret. Also in the turret, when he is spinning like a Beyblade, you will need to shoot him to get him to drop the purple things that the car can drive into to then ram into him. Another thing to watch out for in the car is when you get later in the boss battle, he will do this purple beam, which is very, very powerful, but you can stop him doing this altogether by crashing into him with your boost while he's building up to do this. This is very important. And if you have a 3rd and a 4th player, these need to be training round the outside, staying alive, and when they get the opportunity and the big boss is vulnerable, they need to be shooting the underside, the orange area, with their upgraded ray guns, and this is very useful. Any augments that help you get more revives are very useful. Healing Aura and Ether Shroud are both very useful as well for reviving your teammates and repairing Old Tessie if you need to. And if you can craft Casimirs or Monkey Bombs, these can be very useful for repairing Old Tessie also. Now I actually found this easiest to do on duos. Quads is okay, but all 4 people need to be doing exactly what they need to be doing because the boss is much harder with 4 people. And solo is very difficult because you'll need to drive the car, and the turret is controlled by AI, which doesn't really do what it's meant to be doing. It doesn't shoot the vulnerable areas, it doesn't shoot him when he's spinning to get the purple things to drop. So I found a sweet spot is probably duos, maybe trios, but if you've got all players doing the right thing, 3 and 4 should be fine as well. But I would definitely recommend doing this with a squad. Once you do defeat the boss, you will go into a cutscene, and this is your Easter egg and main quest of Ashes of the Damned complete. Now this will give you the achievement, but one thing I would highly recommend doing is when you come out and back into the map, go to the back of the cabin and interact with this, which will unlock your ability to play cursed mode and go for relics, which you'll need for another achievement. But when you do defeat the boss, you will have completed the main quest in Ashes of the Damned, and your achievement or trophy will unlock. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you found this guide useful, and subscribe for future achievements and trophy guides.